Thank you for joining me once again here on Talkin' Fight for another episode of Boxing News Today. We're going to do some recaps, including the big fight that happened down in Kingston, Jamaica. But first, let's start off with the WBO number one, Bell, who crashed Velez down Toledo. Albert Prince Bell scored a destructive second-round TKO over Jason Velez at Toledo's Glass City Center Saturday night. Despite his post-fight statement to the contrary, I just wanted to put on a performance. Bell seemed much more intent on scoring a stoppage win than usual. Sometimes criticized for his perceived lack of power, Bell jumped on Velez quickly. Velez went on the mat first round in a flash knockdown and did not seem to be badly hurt. In the second round, however, Bell really poured it on and opened up a bloody gash over Jason's left eye and floored him heavily for a second knockdown in the fight. Velez rose only to be again sent down and requiring referee James Easter to immediately rush in and wave off the bout at 1 minute 39 seconds of the round. Let's move along to Cleveland, Ohio, where I see had another really decent fight. It's not uncommon to have rival boxing shows going head-to-head in the same area on the same night, but in a somewhat unique twist on Saturday night in Colorado, two such competing shows wound up combining into one mega event in Loveland, Colorado. Originally, there was one event slated for Denver, promoted by Steve Mestaz, Airtight Boxing, while Loveland had a show promoted by Jeff Snaro's Sparta Combat League. However, the situation was such that there was not enough officials and administrators within the Colorado Combative Sports Commission to cover both shows simultaneously, so the move was made to merge both shows together in Loveland, forming a 22-match mega event combining boxing, kickboxing, MMA, and Muay Thai. Some amateurs and some pros. Wow. Google it. For the 10th consecutive year, Bob Russo of Portland Boxing Club returned to the Portland Expo Center in Portland, Maine for another successful sold-out event, raising money for the New England Golden Gloves program. Sponsors and fans crowded into Portland's top sports arena for an exciting night of pro and amateur boxing. In one of the main events, an 8-rounder featuring from New England middleweight Portland firefighter Jason Quirk, 11-0. 6 knockouts, got off to an early lead, outworking the determined and wild-swinging Rodrigo Lopez Rodriguez out of Sao Paulo, Brazil, via Boston. With seconds to go in the 6th round, Lopez landed a crashing overhand right, staggering Quirk in his corner. Attacking at the bell for the 7th, Lopez continued to chase Quirk around the ring, rocking him repeatedly. Quirk maintained his composure, however, tying Lopez up anytime he landed clean, resulting in them both falling to the canvas. Quirk seemed to regain his legs in the final round, maintain the distance, and avoiding the looping shots of Lopez. Judge Glenn Feldman saw the bout 77-75 for Lopez, while Martha Tremblay and Steve Westfield lead 77-75, 77-76 respectively for Quirk for the split decision win. And that was for the New England middleweight title. Unbeaten WBA number 7 super middleweight Pablo Corza, 17-0, 15 knockouts, fighting out of Argentina, defeated Carlos Rivera of Venezuela by first round knockout on Saturday night at the Club Deportivo on Rosario, Santa Fe, Argentina. The first 2 minutes of the round seemed to be a feeling out process, while Corzo suddenly stopped Rivera badly with a right to the head. Rivera's back hit the ropes and he dropped to his knees after a slight delayed reaction. He was noticeably dazed and counted out by the referee. Elsewhere, we're going to see heavyweight here. 6'4", 279-pound heavyweight Don Hainsworth Jr., 18-8, returned with a third round knockout over journeyman Anthony Trottier in Greensboro, North Carolina on Saturday night after sending the 240-pound Trottier to the canvas twice in the second round. Hainsworth landed another big straight right, dropping Trottier again early in the third. Referee Dale Fry officially stopped the onslaught of 1 minute 10 seconds of round number 3. The victory marked Hainsworth's second straight win since dropping bouts to notables Zhilai Zhang, Guido Vanello, Dempsey McKean. The second bout, the seven bout card, was promoted by local Walter Johnson to honor Veterans Day at the Greensboro National Guard Armory. Elsewhere, we're going to see the unbeaten lightweight Ernesto Tito Mercado. Haven't seen his name in a while, actually. 13-0. Scored a second round TKO over former world title challenger Jeremiah Nakathila. He's 23-4, by the way, on Saturday night at the Color Phoenix Center in Ontario, California. Mercado dropped Nakathila in round number 2 and got a referee stoppage with his follow-up barrage. Nakathila complained about the stoppage, which did seem quick. Regardless, Mercado continues to impress. Yes, at 13-0, I'd say. Sons of Ring Legends were in action Saturday night at Thunder Studios in Long Beach, California. Unbeaten super welterweight Fernando Vargas Jr., 13-0, 12 knockouts. Son of Hall of Famer Fernando Feroz Vargas impressively demolished Wilfredo Buelvas, 24-18. Vargas dropped Buelvas in round 1 and finished him with another knockdown in round number 2 at the 52nd mark. Featherweight Michael Bracamontes, 8-1-1, won an 8-round unanimous decision over Jose Luis Castillo Jr., son of two-time world champion Jose Luis Castillo. Close competitive fight, but two judges somehow had it a shutout. Scores were 80-72, 80-72, 78-74. And Irma Garcia outscored Stephanie Sylvie 8-1, 0 knockouts. I thought it was 8 knockouts over 10 rounds for the vacant IBF female super flyweight title. Scores were 99-90 3 times by all judges. And Garcia dropped Silva, by the way, in round number 5. Good stuff. Let's move along to Kingston, Jamaica, as promised. In a charity exhibition match, heavyweight legends Donovan Razor Ruddick, with a record of 46-1 in the ring with 30 knockouts, and James Lights Out Toney, 77-10 and 347 knockouts, boxed for 6 rounds, with a twist, I might add, on Saturday night at the National Indoor Sports Center in Kingston, Jamaica. Ruddick, age 59 now, and Toney, age 55, both fought without headgear. Rounds 1 and 2 were 3-minute rounds, but after round 2, the Jamaican Commission switched the bout length to 2-minute rounds. Toney was much quicker and busier, while Ruddick landed the occasional power shot, but the affair was declared a draw afterward. Elsewhere on that card, in the co-feature, unbeaten WBA number 10, super featherweight Abel Mendoza, 39-0, 30 knockouts, pounded on 42-year-old Aristides Perez for 3 rounds, and Perez didn't come out for round number 4. Light heavyweight Jermaine Bowen got a 6-round referee stoppage against 46-year-old local favorite Tsetsi Davis. He's 18-9. And pro debuting a welterweight DJ Ruddick, son of Razor Ruddick, battled to a 4-round draw with Jose Heron, who's now 1-0-1. And one last fight to report, middleweight Richard Holmes, 2013, was victorious when Jose Julio, 24-17 and 1, couldn't continue after round number 4. And that was what fight fans in Kingston, Jamaica had to put up with on Saturday night. Now, speaking of putting up with, we've been putting up some rumors, and we've got a little bit of an update with respect to the big fight expected December 23rd, when previously we thought Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury were going to have a little bit of a fight. But after Fury's debacle with Francis Ngannou, we now see that additional planned fights for the Anthony Joshua and Otto Wallin fight have been revealed, as I said, for that December 23rd card over in Saudi Arabia. Deontay Wilder is also expected on the card, fighting former WBO heavyweight champ Joseph Parker, who recently beat Canadian Simon Keane. It's thought that the Saudis are setting the table for a Joshua-Deontay Wilder fight for the first quarter of next year. But the boxing public would prefer they fight now, considering they've talked about making this fight for the last 7 years. However, that's not going to happen, obviously. So here's the update. The planned fights for December 23rd are AJ versus Otto Wallin, Deontay Wilder versus Joseph Parker, Dimitri Bivol versus Richard Rivera. Filip Hrgovic has a fighter to be announced. Daniel Dubois, after his loss to Usyk, is going to face Jarrell Miller, and Frank Sanchez is going to fight Junior Fa. And the big fight that we're all really, truly looking forward to, Arslanbek Makhmudov. They're going to set up a fighter to be announced. That guy, he's 18-0, 17 knockouts. He's probably the best heavyweight there that night, and I hope they get him a really good opponent, as opposed to, who did he fight last time? Junior Anthony Wright on the undercard of the Tyson Fury Francis Ngannou fight. Makhmudov is probably the best heavyweight because he's a killer and would be pure trouble for any of the guys on the card. So it'll be interesting to see who he's matched against on December 23rd. A lot of big stars on the card, but they should be fighting each other, not necessarily the way it's shaping up, but nonetheless entertaining. Interesting to see, though, how that'll do on pay-per-view. I don't think very well. Speaking of pay-per-view, let's have a quick recap of an interview done by our friends over at Bad Left Hook, who took the time to talk to technical director, and this guy's an amazing technical director, been around the block, certainly, worked with everybody, and in all different sports. As a broadcaster, technical direction is switching from various cameras as the sport, or in this case, as boxing or any combat sport progresses. And his work is amazing. And among his highlights, his perspective in this particular interview are his comments with respect to Showtime after years as a technical director for Showbox. He was a technical marvel, said Bad Left Hook, and storytelling nightmare of remote integration. So he's got some things to say, and I put the actual URL for this interview in the description below. Check it out. It's well worth reading. He's got a lot of insight. Let's quickly move along to his comments about Showtime. After the rumors had gotten started, he said, "It's really sad. There are a lot of great people, and they are wonderful broadcasts. I'm not saying Top Rank or any of the others don't have good broadcasts, because they do. It's just a different style. It's a style that always impressed me and challenged me to do a better job. I feel for the people because it's a great staff at Championship Boxing." So what are they going to do now? Who's going to pick it up? I don't know, but the business is what it is. It's a revolving door. One thing closes, another opens. Same thing with HBO. When HBO went away, I forgot to mention earlier that I used to work with boxing for USA Network, and that's one that went away too. It's just a revolving door. Fights are going to go somewhere. There's going to be a promoter promoting something, so they'll end up somewhere. But I feel bad for the people who suffer when the business changes, without a doubt. Yeah. He said that one of the things I came to frustration with my time in television is that when you have a job that's satisfying creatively and financially, and you're generally just waiting around for the hammer to drop and bring it all to an end. I know that some HBO people wound up transitioning to DAZN after the HBO shutdown, and I'd hope that whatever comes next for Showtime and their team, whatever next door opens in the boxing world, that same door presents itself to them as well. In some instances, he continues, that's happened. About 10 years ago, Perform Group brought me in because they wanted an NBA-style director to do EuroLeague in London. Then later, Perform Group morphs into DAZN, and Danielle Carey, Danielle Carey, who I worked with on that basketball event, is now one of the production people for DAZN. So, anyway, a great interview done by the guys at Bad Left Hook with Rick Tugman, a wonderful technical director who's worked on many, many huge events in the sporting world. And as I said, concluded with Showtime's Championship Boxing series. Right, boxing fans, thanks for joining me. Appreciate it very much. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, tell your friends about this wonderful broadcast before we go out of business. Thanks for joining me once again. I'll see you later on at 4 p.m., hopefully, with Mike Orr and his show, Knuckle Up.